Hi friends, welcome. I am Camila for those who don't know me. And today we're going to be doing a feel good flow, everything around our hips. So to start off with, it is a sequence made, a practice made for us to feel good. So I am going to give the option to go a little deeper in some poses, go into deep poses, but please meet yourself where you are today so you can feel at ease, creating space in both mind and body so you can feel good. In Eastern medicine, and there's many philosophies that believe that the hips is the area in the body where we carry emotions. And beyond our philosophy, beyond our beliefs, giving space and time to connect with how we are feeling, I find extremely important. So today, as we release and open the entire pelvis area and hip, be sensitive to how you're feeling. Connect with any emotions that arise. Get curious and go deep into how you are feeling today. With no attachment, trying to just observe, see them as they come and go, and get curious. So with that, we are going to start in a wide knee child's pose. So big toes together, knees separating. And we're going to let the torso hang heavy between our thighs. Reaching our hands forward as the sits bones draw towards our heels. Resting our forehead. Letting ourselves land here. Maybe noticing if there's any emotion or sensation or feeling that's present as we start today's practice. And gently shifting the shoulders over the wrists, meeting in a tabletop position. We're going to take a couple moments to go through a couple rounds of cat-cows as we inhale, opening the chest, looking up. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the tailbone in, pushing the floor away from you. Continue at your own pace, following your breath. Feeling as your navel pushes towards the spine as you come into angry cat. And your shoulders broaden, your chest broadens as you come into cow. Continue for a couple more rounds. And gently we'll meet in a neutral tabletop as we lift the right arm up towards the ceiling, opening the chest, drawing the left hip back, keeping the hip squared. And we're going to thread the right arm under, placing the back of the shoulder, the side of the head onto the mat. Lengthening the left leg out to the side, placing the foot on the mat. And gently using the left hand to press yourself up, coming onto your hands, keeping the left leg straight, lifting the torso, walking the left hand along the left leg, reaching the right arm towards the left, opening the chest to really lengthen the side of the body. And come back through center, placing the right hand towards the right on the mat so the hand, knee, and foot are aligned. Lengthen the left arm up and lift the left leg up in a dynamic way. As you exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, pushing the hips forward so you're not sitting into your hips. We're going to do 3 more. And last one, hold up here, pushing the hips forward, pushing through the left heel. Left leg is active. And gently lower, coming back through tabletop position. This time, inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling, opening the chest towards the left. Pushing the right hand against the mat to really open the whole torso towards the left side. And thread the left arm under, placing the left edge of the head on the mat. Almost as if you wanted to place the back of the shoulder on the mat. So really opening the left shoulder. And lengthening the right leg out to the side. At the same level as the hip. And pushing yourself up, placing both hands on the mat. Lifting the torso, walking the right hand along the right leg. Lengthen the left arm towards the right. And back through center, placing the left hand on the mat, on the ground. Reaching the right arm up, lift the right leg. In a dynamic way, lower the leg and lift. Lower and lift. 2 more. Last one. Hold the lift, pushing the hips forward, pushing the hand against the mat to find a strong upper back. And lower the leg, come all the way up, coming through tabletop position. Placing your hands onto the mat, coming into your first downward facing dog. Taking a second or so to settle in your down dog. Finding a still down dog. Inhale, lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Opening the hip, bending the knee. Reaching the right heel towards the right glute. And we're going to drop big beach circles with the right knee. Loosening that hip joint. 2 more. And gently draw the right knee into the nose. Hold here as you lengthen the right leg out to the left without placing the foot on the mat. And gently place the foot on the mat, lifting the left arm up. Fallen triangle, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling, broadening the collarbones. Inhale. On the exhale, lower onto your sits bones. Widening your wide-legged seated position. Hands in front of you, walking the hands forward, drawing the heart towards the front. Really finding a long spine as you fold forward, keeping the toes facing up. Gently walking the hands back in, bringing the bottoms of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Playing around, if your knees are really up, feeling tight, you can always play around taking the heels a little more out so the knees drop out to the sides and gently fold forward. Same thing, the heart draws down. And lifting back up. Right leg under, left leg over, aligning the knees for Gomukhasana. If this feels extremely tight, you can either lengthen the bottom leg or use a block to sit on. And we're going to fold over our legs. Feeling the outer hips open. And lifting back up, finding our way into plank pose, facing the other side. Coming through a vinyasa or directly into down dog. Lifting the right leg up, stepping the right foot outside of the right hand. lowering onto the back knee, the back of the foot. Lifting the right arm up as we open the chest, letting the foot lift, knee in the same direction as the foot. And we're going to push the knee away from us, opening that hip. Maybe looking behind us. And gently placing the whole foot back down, keeping the foot facing outside of both hands, so placing the right hand inside of the right foot. We're going to lengthen the right leg, coming into like this funky version of a half split. As we push through the heel, opening the back of the leg, all toes are facing up, heart draws forward. And bending the right knee once again, placing back toes onto the mat, step it back, plank pose. Either knees, chest, chin, your version of vinyasa, chaturanga, or we'll meet directly in downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up towards the ceiling. Opening the hip, bending the knee, reaching the heel towards the glute. Arms straight and both armpits facing down. You're going to draw big beach circles with the left knee. Almost as if you were like lubricating that hip joint. And gently knee into the nose. Lengthening the leg out to the right side. Placing the foot onto the mat. Fallen triangle. Lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling as you lift the hips. Broadening the collarbones. Inhale. And lower onto the sits bones. Once again, opening the seated position, maybe taking out the flesh out of your tush so you can give your sits bones more space to broaden. And walking your hands forward. All toes are facing up. And maybe it's not much. Maybe it's just a slight tilt forward. And as you hold this pose a little longer, tune in to that deeper sensation, that deep curiosity of any emotion or feeling that can come up throughout the class. And gently walking the hands back in, bringing the bottoms of the feet together. Baddha Konasana, knees gently dropping. Remember, if you're not on your sits bones, then you can't elongate your spine. You can always sit on a block or take the heels out slightly. And from there, fold forward as much as you can. And it might not be much either. And that's fine. We're creating space through the openings. So as we round, we are closing those spaces. That is what creates clarity and lightness in the body and mind. And lifting back up, taking the left leg under, right leg over, making sure the knees are stacked, drawing the heels close towards the outer hips, and fold forward. Making sure both sits bones remain grounded. Gently lifting the torso, placing both hands in front of you, stepping one foot at a time back, plank pose. Your version of your vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or a more traditional chaturanga, or we'll meet in down dog. Feel free to do your version throughout the class. Lifting once again the left leg, this time placing the foot outside of the left hand for lizard. Placing the back knee on the mat, the back of the foot, and as we lift the left arm up, let the knee open as the foot lifts, making sure the knee is in the same direction as the left knee. Opening, and we'll use the left hand to push the knee away from us, maybe opening a little deeper. And coming back through center, placing the left hand inside of the left foot as you lengthen the left leg, coming into this funky split. Again, for these deep stretches, it's always nice to have blocks so you can make the floor meet you rather than you crunching to reach the floor. If not, you can always come onto your fingertips or your leg. And gently bend the left knee. Stepping the left foot back will meet in plank pose. Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Separating your feet a little wider than hip width. You're going to walk your hands back, dropping the hips, coming into Yogi Squat Malasana. Hands in front of the heart. As you push the knees away from you, opening the hips, lengthening through the crown of the head. To modify, you can put a block under your sits bones to support, or you can place a towel under your heels if your heels don't reach down. And close your eyes for just a brief moment to realign with that tone, that curiosity, that sensitivity that we set at the beginning of the class. To tune in with ourselves throughout the class and get curious with anything that arises, with non-judgment, just observing as those feelings and emotions come and go. Gently placing your hands back onto the mat, walking your hands forward, coming into downward facing dog once again. Bringing your feet hip width apart. Stepping the right foot outside of the right pinky finger. Lowering the back knee and the back of the foot. The right foot lifts as the knee opens and we reach your right arm up once again. Feel free to stay here. This can easily be enough. We're going to reach for the back foot, bending the back knee, reaching for the back foot. And release the back foot, placing the right hand down, wiggling the foot between both hands. Placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee. You're going to place the right shin on the mat for pigeon pose. Opening the right hip, lengthening the left leg back. So for pigeon pose, it might be nice to get a block so you can prop up the right hip to really square off the hips. If not, if you don't have any, just consciously try to square off the hips, bring them to the same height, and lower down. Surrender into your pigeon. Feel the juiciness of this pose. Let yourself sink in deep. Feel free to stay in your single-legged pigeon. If you want to take it a little deeper, feel free to stay there. That's a really nice pose, and you can use lots of pillows to support it, so you can make it like a sort of yin pigeon. If not, we're going to go for double pigeon, swinging the back leg around, and we're going to stack our shins, making sure we're trying to sort of be perfectionists here in the fact that we're trying to look for the heel over the knee, knee over the heel. The more exact we are, the deeper we're going to feel it. If this doesn't feel right because your knees are very propped up, you can prop yourself up on a block or stay in your single pigeon. And from here, once again, folding over. This requires a lot of opening of the hips. And the hips consist of so many sets of muscles and such a big joint that when we release it, there's many components that we're working on that can make it feel very deep, stretches, and can cause a lot of sensation of release and sort of what we said at the beginning, that Eastern philosophers and Eastern medicine believes that we carry a lot of emotions here. Gently, wherever you are, lifting up. Again, feel free to stay here. This is a very deep pose. We do not have to take it here. If you have a block, it's nice to use a block to prop yourself up and create a little more space. So I'm going to show you how you can modify it with a block. You're going to sit down with your block to create a little more space. And with the right hand, you're going to grab the big toe, lengthening the left leg out to the side as you reach over your head. This is extremely deep hamstring opener, hip opener. So this might look like this, and that's fine. It's a work in progress. Compass pose. And this might just be a child's pose for you, which that's perfectly fine as well. And release. If you were using a block, set it out to a side. If not, we're just going to meet in a downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot outside of the left hand for lizard on the left side. As you come onto your back knee, the back of the foot, letting the left foot open, the knee open, reaching the left arm up. And you might just stay here. Or you might reach for the back foot if you did so on the other side. Rotating the heart to open, lifting the heart up towards the ceiling. There's a lot going on here. Letting the hips lower to really feel that opening in the right front of the hip and the outer left hip. And gently release the back foot, placing the hand onto the mat, lifting the back knee, wiggling the foot between both hands, coming into pigeon pose on the left side, rotating the left femur to open, the left thigh to open. The closer the heel is in towards you, it's a perfect way to modify, as it can be a little easier if you bring the shin more parallel to the front of the mat. It's going to be a lot deeper. Squaring off the hips and surrender forward. As you surrender into your pigeon, feel as if you surrender into your emotions, into your feelings. You're surrendering to them, to observe them. You're not resisting them, as you're not resisting this pose. Again, feel free to stay in your one-legged pigeon, or you're going to lift up to come into double pigeon, swinging the back leg forward, stacking the shins, right heel over the left knee, knee over the heel. And this might be enough, and you might just want to stay here, or you might fold forward. Grounding the sits bones down. And coming all the way back up. We're going to come back into that very deep pose, compass pose. Again, you can use a block to lift yourself up. It's going to give you a little more space. I'm going to do it this time facing forward. You're going to reach for the right toe with the two peace fingers on the left hand. Right arm comes to support inside of the leg. And you're going to lengthen the right leg as you open the chest, reaching the left arm overhead. This is a lot. This can be enough, or just double pigeon or pigeon. We're just doing different poses to open all those different components of the hip. Maybe looking up. And release down. Finding our way back into downward facing dog. From down dog, setting your knees on the mat, big toes together, knees separate, coming into a wide angle child's pose. From child's pose, we're going to transition into frog, which can be a lot for some people's knees. So feel free to just stay here in wide angle child's pose. If not, we're going to transition into frog by lifting the torso slightly, bringing the shins parallel to each other. I like to do this sometimes with towels so the knees can slide out as much as they want. And the knees are going to remain in the same height as the heel, keeping the hips in the same line as the knees, and we'll lower onto our forearms. Frog pose. Trying to bring your attention to your breath. Checking in with your breath and what it has to tell you. Your breath is a sneak peek inward. Gently coming onto your hands, bringing your knees together, finding your way into Dandasana, seated pose, legs together, heels push towards the front of the mat as all toes face up. As you feel your sits bones ground, inhale, reaching the arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward, reaching for the feet. The reason why we're lengthening to reach down is so you don't crunch down. That doesn't mean that you'll necessarily reach for your feet. You might reach a little higher up. But what we're looking for is that long spine. Feels good to bring your legs together, doesn't it? After all this opening. And gently coming back through center, finding our way onto our backs. Bringing both knees together. Hugging the knees in and maybe massaging the low back from side to side. Staying here for a bit to really feel the goodness of the counter movement of bringing the knees together, legs neutral. And finding stillness as you bring your legs in towards you, not your shoulders, and your torso towards your legs. So the torso remains relaxed on the mat. Shoulders remain grounded. Sides of the neck soft. Opening your arms in a T, letting the knees fall out towards the right as you look towards the left. Making sure both shoulders remain on the ground. And coming back through center, knees towards the other side, As you look towards the right shoulder, and back through center, lengthening the legs forward. This time, letting them completely relax with no effort. Arms next to the torso, palms of the hands facing up. Right before we completely let go and surrender in Shavasana, try to tune in once again inward and see if there's anything different, any feeling that arises that's different from the beginning of the class. Just observe it, be with it, and let it go. And surrender completely into Shavasana. I will leave you here. I encourage you to take a really good, juicy Shavasana after all that work and opening that we did. I hope you enjoyed, had fun with it, and now you're feeling good. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, and see you next time.